All right, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another fight breakdown. Today we're going to break down Luis Smolka against Kenney. And this is, again, a bantamweight fight that we have for UFC Fight Night 176, which is going to be extremely interesting to look at. So let's first look at the odds really quickly, because that's usually what people want to know if they bet. I personally don't bet, but at the same time, I could see why people are interested in seeing the odds as to whether, what society thinks about these fighters. Okay, so Kenney seems to be the favorite here at minus 275, while Smolka sits at plus 200. Okay, so Smolka is the underdog while Kenney is the favorite. Okay, but let's try to understand why this could be the case, because these are pretty set in stone odds. They're not too balanced. So Smolka has a record of 16 wins and 6 losses, which is, a pretty respectable record. Of his 16 wins, 7 have actually come from TKO or knockout, which, again, respectable. It shows he's a violent, he's more of a hard hitter. Usually we'd see higher grappling, higher submissions by fighters, but not in this case. And again, this is a very versatile fighter. Before facing Matt Schnell, to which he lost to, he was actually on a roll with a 4-fight win streak, but then obviously he fell short. And then right after the Matt Schnell fight in which he lost, he came back right away and won again against Ryan McDonald. Luis Smolka is he's a really strong dude. He's going to pressure you right off the bat. He likes to push people on the cage. He likes to he's not one of those conservative types of fighters. He'll dive in. But at the same time, I feel like this type of combat won't really benefit against a fighter like Kenney. And so let's look at Kenney, who is the favorite in this bantamweight fight. So he has a record of 13-2, obviously a lot better. 2 losses are better than, 6? So he's won the majority of the fights via decision. Okay, so this goes to show that a fighter like Kenney has a gas tank, because someone who wins his fights by decision is one who can usually last until the end of the fight. Which goes to show that he's someone who doesn't really gas out. Kenney does come from his, in his most recent fight, he actually lost against Merab Dvalishvili, butchered his name. But basically before that fight, he was actually on a 6-fight win streak. So that sort of sets the bar as to what type of fighter this guy is. He doesn't like to lose. He doesn't lose a lot, obviously, shown by his record. And before that fight, he had a 6-fight win streak, which goes to show how good of a fighter he really is. He's actually never been knocked out. So for a fighter like Smolka, who pressures people and wants to get that knockout right away, that's why I was saying before that his fighting style doesn't really match with Kenney, because he's someone who's more conservative. Okay, he's someone who's more conservative. He's never been knocked out. And so these two fight styles, usually that's why they say defense beats attack, at least in soccer. I don't know if the same can be applied for UFC, but that's sort of my mentality, and that's sort of why I'm going for Kenney in this one. And again, I really think Kenney is going to win. I think if there's a fight that he could, definitely win, it'd be against Smolka, someone who attacks, and yeah, 100%. That's how I think this fight is going to go. I don't really know how much it's going to last in terms of the rounds, whether it's going to be the 3rd round or the 2nd round. I don't know, but yeah, Kenney's going to win this fight, in my opinion. So yeah, that was a really quick breakdown of how I think the fight is going to go. I'm also interested to know what you guys think. Comment below who you guys think is going to win. Let's try to get a discussion going, maybe. And yeah, I'm going to make more videos on these up-and-coming prelims as well as the fights leading up to May 30th. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for those. Subscribe. See you guys in the next one.